Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I'm Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. This will be a video for the hometown crowd. This is going to be about Senate Bill 5444. We'll also give you a few little legislative updates. This is a bill that has now passed out of the Senate. It moves over to the House. It has an excellent chance of making it to the governor's desk this legislative session. It will restrict where you can carry firearms to a degree. It is a new sensitive place bill. Now, we haven't spent a lot of time geeking out on it because it's not as bad as it could be. I'm going to break it all down for you so that you can understand that. And like I say, we'll also give you an update on some other things that are going on in Olympia. So today, let's geek out for a few minutes and let's talk about the bill to make more of Washington a gun-free zone. Okay, Washington, this is what we're talking about today. Two things, a quick legislative update of where we are with everything, and number two, we're going to spend a little time geeking out on Senate Bill 5444. There now are 4 bills that have passed out of their House of Origin. I'm recording this video the evening of February 12th. The fourth and last bill passed about an hour and a half ago. I was geeking out watching the legislative session right here in my office because that's the life I live. Okay, we know that House Bill 1903, which has some requirements about reporting stolen firearms, has passed out of the House. We know that House Bill 2021, which has some provisions about gun buyback programs, has passed out of the House. We know that Senate Bill 5444 has passed out of the Senate. That's what we're going to be geeking out on today. And then, of course, the Death Star of bills this year, House Bill 2118, a bill that will absolutely smoke the FFL industry, did pass out of the House today, basically along party lines. I watched the debates, and I'll just tell you that there were a lot of comments on the Republican side. There were some comments that were actually really, really good, well thought out, well presented. There's a bunch of others. The Democrats said nothing, and let's just vote and get this over with. And they have passed the bill. There was some amendments to it that will change this from getting kicked in the shins, punched in the mouth, and kneed in the groin to only 2 of those 3. But really, it's kind of just like putting whipped cream on a pile of crap. So that's what's happened in Olympia today. We're going to do more follow-up on 2118, and obviously you need to pay attention to this video right here, because if you love your FFL, and even if you don't, just because you depend on your FFL, you've got to fight this bill with like holy hell, because it's going to absolutely ruin the FFL industry. Okay, what we're talking about today, though, is Senate Bill 5444, a bill that, again, I didn't want to get everyone all spun up until I saw it at least pick up some momentum and get out of one of the 2 chambers. It has done so. This would amend RCW 9.41.300. What is RCW 9.41.300? Well, that's one of the many statutes that lists gun-free zones, okay? There's multiple statutes in the RCW that will list what constitutes gun-free zones. Schools, daycare centers, and things like that are found in RCW 9.41.285 and places such as that. 941.300 does list a lot of other areas that you are familiar with: courthouses, correctional facilities, secured area of airports, the place that the Liquor Control Cannabis Board designates as age 21 and over, licensed mental health facilities, places such as that are technically gun-free zones in Washington State. This adds to the list 3 new categories. What are they? Well, the first one is libraries. Apparently, we have a horrible rash of gun violence occurring at our library system, unbeknownst to me. Now, I hope that those people that are committing those crimes are at least using suppressors while they're in the library, but now, under this bill, if enacted into law, libraries will become gun-free zones. Okay, zoos and aquariums. Did not know that zoos and aquariums were suffering from a rash of gun violence. I was unaware of that. Maybe there's a poaching issue going on at the zoos that I'm unaware of. But that will also become a gun-free zone. And then the third one, and this is one that actually, especially if you rely on public transportation, especially if you rely on public transportation in the Puget Sound region, this one is enough to get you freaked out. The premises of a transit station or transit facility, including all passenger facilities, structures, stops, shelters, bus zones, and other properties that are owned, leased, held, or used by a transit authority for the purpose of providing public transportation services. Now, I will tell you right now, I don't rely on public transportation in the Puget Sound region for multiple reasons. One of the reasons is it ain't safe, okay? So the last place on God's green earth in the state of Washington that you should be unarmed would be on public transportation in the Puget Sound region. Now, that third one obviously is the one that really, I think, creates a massive safety issue. And again, it's not about creating safety issues. It's about what our inalienable rights are supposed to be. However, there was at least one amendment that was accepted by the Senate before this passed out of the Senate. So now, this is important. If you possess a concealed pistol license, then the restrictions in libraries, zoos, aquariums, and public transportation does not apply to you. Okay? Now, that is one of many reasons for which I have always said that people should get concealed pistol licenses. I recognize some of you are going to freak out right now and say, we should have no licensing. This should be a constitutional carry state. I get all of that. But I'm just trying to get people to understand how they can function within the current laws in the state of Washington. And then we can talk about how to change those laws. We can start winning elections first, okay? So if you have a concealed pistol license, then sections F, G, and H of this bill, which constitutes libraries, zoos and aquariums, and public transportation, does not apply to you. The bill, again, is Senate Bill 5444. It now heads over to the House. I'm sure the House will have absolutely no problem passing this legislation. The other three bills, 1903, 2021, and the Death Star Bill 2118, now go from the House to the Senate. If you guys want to try to stop any of these bills, you need to contact your legislator. How do you do that? Well, we'll put that information down below. We'll also put in how you can sign up for the Conservative Ladies of Washington's Legislative Action Center, because if you haven't done so by now, what the hell are you doing? All right, listen, if you got any other questions about this or anything else related to what's left of our Second Amendment rights, you guys should know how to get a hold of Washington Gun Law by now. If you don't, that's okay. That information is also down there in the description box. And then finally, let's everyone remember that part of being the lawful and responsible gun owner, like we talk about all the time here, is to know what the law is in every situation, how it applies to you in any instance that you may find yourself. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe.